What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Chewy Podcast. Once again, this ugly thing is back. As you can see on here, I don't know how or why. I don't know. I mean, I said his name 3 times. It's
You left the door unlocked.
This is true. I did have the door unlocked.
Yes, you
but
did.
guys, by the way, today we are going live on YouTube and also TikTok. TikTok, buddy.
Oh,
That's what I'm talking about.
we
TikTok.
made it. Oh, this is gonna be good.
I hope so. For me, not for you, buddy.
I haven't been thrown off the talk in a while, dude.
That's what you call it, the talk?
Yeah, the talk.
That's interesting.
It's the talk.
All right, anyways. But guys, hang on there. This is episode 247. We got a special guest with us today. Hang in there. Let's get going. Let's go.
do this.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Chewy Podcast. And today's guest, special guest, he's been in here a couple of times. He's been on the podcast a couple of times, but he's always that baby in the corner. I mean, Chewy knows what I'm talking about, baby in the corner,
Yeah,
right?
he's always in the corner.
He's always-
We keep putting him in the corner.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to introduce the owner of Combat Cold Wrestling, Mr. Eddie Garza on the podcast. Woo! What's going on? Hey, how you doing, man?
Welcome,
I'm
buddy.
doing all right. I'm doing okay.
All right, man. Welcome to the podcast. This is actually a first podcast that we have you on here.
In the
Actual guest.
As an actual
Solo
guest.
guest.
Solo guest.
You were the babysitter the last couple of times you were here.
Well, not exactly, because you got your ass kicked at one of them. But that was all good and fun.
That
You're
was-
feeling better now.
You doing
Everybody
all
had a
right?
good
You doing okay
time.
on that? You
Everybody
know,
had a good. It's fine.
I've taken chops from Pete
It's
before,
fine.
so I know he can be a little rough.
And there's been other
Pork chops
stuff.
from Pete? Really? I don't think so.
But we are live on YouTube and on TikTok, so we're gonna do professionally like we always do. We try our best. At least I try our best. I'm not sure about you, but we try our best to keep stay in the green, not in the
My
red.
leg's coming off one way or another today. So
The green or the red, man. So Eddie, coming on the podcast today, I know first of all, since it is the first time you've come on the podcast, we need to get to know who you are, where you grew up,
I love
and
talking about
how
me.
we got into combat cult. So take it away, man. This is all you.
Well, yeah, man. Eddie Garza, born and raised here in Westlaco, Texas. The journey to Combat Cult was pretty crazy. As you all know, Pete Payne is, because you can say he's like one of my mentors.
Yeah.
And I met Pete at Wrestling Revolution back in, I want to say like it was 2017 or maybe even 18. At that time, I was aspiring to be a wrestler, trying to train. Did security there with WR, and things didn't really pan out, obviously because I'm not a wrestler.
Right.
But I had this creative bone in me where I like storylines. I like putting together these narratives, and there was one point there where I sat there, or not sat there, I stood there at WR, and I was like, man, like I want to get my hands in on like the creative side of things.
Yeah.
Because of it. We all kind of like think it'd be so cool to be a wrestler, and it is cool.
Right.
But I just didn't have the time to dedicate to training at the time.
Right.
I even now, like, more so now that I have my wife and my child. But yeah, even at the time, I didn't really have the time you needed to dedicate to being a wrestler. So
Right.
I told Pete one day, like, I think I want to just try my hand at something creative. And Pete was doing some stuff too. He had a show that he ran, and COVID hit.
Yeah,
and
right.
that changed the game for
Yeah,
everybody,
for
everything.
everybody.
So
Yeah.
at the time, we ended up getting the stimulus. Thank you, Daddy Trump, for the stimulus. We got the stimulus, and I told myself, like, I have to make this money count somehow. And at the time, I purchased my ring, and at the time, I kind of thought like maybe I could use it, set it up in my backyard and maybe train here and there with some guys.
Backyard wrestling.
Backyard wrestling.
Yeah.
Pete was training, in another yard somewhere else at the time too, and I'd go and show up there here and there. But I bought the ring thinking, maybe I can dedicate some more time to training. And then maybe at the same time, a couple years from now, maybe get my own promotion started, because that's really where my passion is the creative side of things.
Right.
So, I told Pete, Pete got me linked up with some guys, Evil Masters, over in Brownsville. They wanted to rent the ring at the time, and they wanted to put their own show. and they kind of asked me, "Hey, do you want to join up on this? Like, do you know any wrestlers, this and that?" And I had a few connections that I had where I could make where I could get some wrestlers to come down. So we discussed it, and they're like, "Well, welcome aboard." So I didn't really plan on Combat Colt happening when it happened. I was really thinking it would happen, in a few years' time.
Right.
But I kind of they threw me into swim with the sharks, and here I am now.
Now, Combat Code itself, I know that kind of branched out after Wrestling Revolution, because Wrestling Revolution was kind of the big thing here in the RGV for the meanwhile. When this branched out, did you figure consider the other promotions that are out there right now, and they're out there also doing their thing. Was it something as like a goal to you? Is that I gotta put on my big shoes and I gotta do my thing now?
It's more like that now. At the time, I was kind of just trying to navigate how this whole show works, and of course, there's still things to learn here and there. I'm always learning, but when I first started, it was kind of just figuring things out. Now I'm at a point we're close to 3 years in. Now I've kind of hit a rhythm where like I know what works. I know my target audience. I know who I'm the crowd that I want to draw.
Right.
I know who they want to see. I know who they don't want to see. I know, the kind of attractions that would bring some people in. And if you look at our attendance at CINE Del Rey, that kind of shows for it. We have over 100 paying customers each show that we've had.
Yeah.
And they all love the show. We get so much positive feedback saying, this show was awesome. We had one fan come to us and told us, like, I didn't have very high expectations when I saw that the ticket prices were what they were.
Right.
But, I would have paid $40 for that front row seat. So that made me think, like, damn, like we really are putting out a quality product out here.
And consider the fact the wrestling events are happening in the historical CINE Del Rey. That's where most of all the. Did you ever catch a wrestling match over in CINE Del Rey?
Absolutely. Me and the Beefy Boys, we went to a couple of matches there one time, and I got to tell you, the difference between each show has been really. It's definitely like
it's entertaining.
It's
bro.
entertaining. It's entertaining. That's the word I was looking for. It's entertaining. It's fun, and everybody gets into it. Yeah, I can see why.
And consider the fact being as it known as the actual place of the birthplace of a lot of the wrestling associations that are in the RGV that try to get in there, what's have you. Having your promotion in there now. I mean, that's got to be a pretty good feeling, man.
Yeah, no, it's definitely special. I think everybody looks at CINE Del Rey as a, like you said, like kind of the birthplace of everything that's going on now.
Yeah.
There was wrestling before that, but I feel like CINE is kind of like the mecca. Like that's the Madison Square of the Valley. People, you talked about your experience back in the day.
Yeah.
People still think. Wrestling happens at CINE Del Rey,
right?
Or hey, I remember WR back in the day. This, and this. So it's got its nostalgic feel to it. Honestly, you sit at a show. We've had shows different places,
right?
We've had them here downstairs at Suerte when it was here.
Yeah.
We have them over here at Senor Barba's. A couple of other places, but sitting there at CINE, it just brings a different feel to the entire show. It just feels grander, bigger.
And we already got one of our first guys. I know Jacinto Rivera III's on here saying, "What's up, guys?" And Jacinto's saying, "Get the guy with the sunglasses out of here, Eddie. Chop him." That's what they're saying, right?
All right, you know what? We'll just turn the show off. All right. We'll chop the show off right now.
Don't do that. Let's not do that.
Yeah. We can't do that, but I feel your pain, Jacinto. I wouldn't mind seeing Eddie actually giving him a good, nice chop.
I'll take my leg off, Jacinto. I'll take everybody out.
Let's not do that.
Let's not do that, buddy. We don't want to get canceled.
Or do we?
Or do we? But so doing like I said, having your show in CINE Del Rey, which is like the granddaddy. I mean, to me, it's the granddaddy, especially that place because it's so historical, bro.
Right.
It's so historical. I've been to one Wrestling Revolution a couple of matches back in the day, and and then when it finally died out, we're like, it was in kind of like a little bit of a limbo.
Yeah.
And then you saw, you know, you had other promos. You had Daddy Chance make one, and then you had
Agreed.
Combat Cult make one. Then you had a lot of these promotions from Mexico jumping over and making something. You're like, wow, it hasn't died out. It's still going on.
I think COVID just kind of put a pause on things. I don't really think anything died because there was people trying to figure out how to make things happen. Like
Right.
Pete had a show. There was Make a Difference Wrestling there at CINE Del Rey. They were trying to do, I believe it was some stuff like on YouTube or TikTok. You know, people were still trying to make things happen. New Breed, I think, had just opened their school around that time too.
Yeah.
So, you know, everybody was still trying to figure out, and even like on the big, you know, the big leagues like WWE, you know, they were still trying to make things happen.
Right,
So
right,
I don't think it died. I think people were just trying to figure, like, cause it was COVID was just, it changed everything. Like it really did. And
I was gonna say that too, because like from before COVID to today, it's like a completely different.
yeah, and it was like a huge boom right as soon as
Yeah,
COVID passed. Like I think people just wanted to go out and enjoy things.
It came back with a vengeance.
Yeah,
for
exactly.
sure. Yeah, no
Even
kidding.
like in WWE is the prime example. Like
Yep.
they were in a very weird place. They
were failing.
Yeah, it
It's
wasn't
just-
positive. I wouldn't
Yeah.
say failing because they were still the juggernaut. They
Right.
were,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
but,
yeah.
but they weren't like people didn't really like the show. There was so many
Yeah.
complaints.
Yep.
Coming out of COVID,
Yep.
everything just boomed. Like everything, everybody started liking what was going on.
And I got Hasito coming up here. It says Eddie gave Nikki the opportunity to perform at the scene today. She treated it like her WrestleMania in the 956. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen the events, man. When you guys hold events up there, it gets big, man. It
Yeah.
gets jam packed.
Yep,
And
it
anybody who's been to a wrestling event here in the RGV, especially if it's at the Landmark, even if it's Senor Barros downtown Westico, or here where it used to be here downstairs at Suerte, you know, it's. People come. They want to see. They
Yeah.
want to be entertained. They want to see. Let's go check this out. Let's see if it's any good. You know.
Yeah.
And they get entertained by it. Now let me go back to your actual first venue, your first official venue of Combat Cult.
Oh, here we go.
Okay.
Now, getting the promotions going. You got it's opening night. What is going through your mind? Because I know that's got to be nerve wracking, bro.
It was. It
So
definitely
take us step by step on what was going on and what was going on in your head. All right, go ahead.
So that happened at the Woodman Life Ballroom in San Juan,
Oh,
October 22nd, 2022 or 3, something like that. You know, at the time I was a Woodman Life rep. It's a life insurance agency. You know, I was able to get that ballroom, you know, for a good price. And I had contacted a few wrestlers to get that going. Evil Masters had their part of the show. Pete had his part of the show. So it was kind of like a three-way dance for us. But yeah, you know, I didn't know what I was doing so much. You know, I had never planned an event at all.
Right.
Okay.
Not even so much as like a birthday party had I ever planned. So, so you know,
I'm making a birthday party, and there's like 90 people coming, so I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
but it was cake. I forgot the cake. But yeah, no, the event itself, you know, it didn't draw what you know we had hoped, but it
Right.
was still
Right.
fun. Like the
Right.
wrestlers went out there, they did their thing. I think whoever was there did have a good time.
Right.
But again, like we didn't know anything about marketing things, right? We didn't know anything about you know the date. That date, there ended up being like 3 other shows, even like in San Juan.
Right. Right.
You know, so we didn't really think about all of the logistics behind it. But yeah, you know, it was kind of nerve wracking. We had to figure out. I mean, I think the easy part of producing shows is getting the actual like wrestlers, like the matchmaking and having the match go
Right.
about. I think that's the easy part. And,
Right.
And I think we knocked out of the park. It was all the other little intricate things, like I said, marketing and
Right, right.
and stuff like that we didn't really put a lot of effort into. And you know, we had bought flyers and posters and whatnot, and I think we had passed a good amount of them out.
Right.
But we still didn't take time to really push that because it does take a lot of time to
Yeah,
to push
it
a show
does.
to that scale.
It's been, yeah,
So-
yeah, it does.
You know, but yeah, you know, that's standing there that day, finally seeing it kind of come to fruition. It was kind of like, okay, we got past this one, and again, it wasn't really like our best show, but it did teach me a few things. You know, it made me think, okay, I got to look at this whole thing from a business standpoint. Because from there, I was kind of just being a fan and
Right.
kind of like, kind of just excited to be part of something.
And that's one thing I want to ask you when it's happening. I mean, being a fan, I mean, you're running it, but honestly, did you get lost? Like, oh, so I gotta watch this match. I gotta watch this match.
Not so much, honestly. I spent a lot of the time in the back with the guys, kind of just jumping in between, checking to see if the match was good. Going fine.
Right.
Then going back there to see if everybody was okay. And at the time, my wife and even my family members were like, "Hey, maybe you should just sit down and watch," because even like Pete was back there. Like,
Right,
Pete
right.
could have taken care of all
Have
of
your
that.
own little gorilla area.
Yeah,
Where
no,
you know.
it was kind of taken care of, but I felt like, oh no, like I have to be, kind of facilitating things because I this is my show, along with the other guys. It was,
Right.
but I was part of the show, and I felt like I had to facilitate things, so I didn't really get to sit down and watch everything up until like the main event, so which is the match that I kind of put together.
Right.
And I didn't really get, like I said, I didn't get to enjoy it, but now. Even the first couple of shows here at Suerte, I didn't really get to sit down and enjoy. I would have wrestlers come up to me and ask, like, "Hey, what did you think of the match?" And honestly, guys, I didn't really get to watch it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was kind of running back and forth, but I have the video. I'll go back and watch it, and
Review it,
and I'll give you my perspective from like a fan standpoint because I'm not a wrestler. I'm not a producer. I really don't know.
Right.
What to critique you on as. Unless it's from a fan standpoint.
Right, exactly.
So, and even to this day, like I kind of tell the guys that even though now I have more experience, I still tell the guys like, look, I'm going to critique you from a fan standpoint. Again, because I'm still not a wrestler. I can't tell you, you should have done this, this, and this.
Right.
But from like just me being a fan, like this is what I would have thought could have happened, or this is what I liked about it. So.
Right.
That's kind of how that goes. But
How many shows do you have under your belt already, man? So far, I mean, now that it's already been like 2 years already, over 3
2.5,
years,
almost 3 years.
Yeah. How many shows more or
I
less?
honestly lost count. The first year we did about once a month. So that was at least 10 to 12. I think we skipped like 1 or 2. The second year I think we did maybe about the same. This year we were on our 5th show. So I kind of spread things out on these a little bit just because we're at CINE Del Rey. Things are a little bit bigger. There's a ton of wrestling already going on every week. Here either at the Landmark or other promotions that might be doing something. So
Right.
I figured, okay, you know what? I need to make my show a little bit different, make it a little bit bigger, have a bigger budget for it, and then have it maybe once every 6 to 8 weeks. So that way, it gives fans time to kind of think,
Right.
to kind of like plan for it ahead of time too.
Exactly.
So that's I think we were maybe like at 5 shows now.
And that's I'm sorry. Go ahead, Chu.
No, I was just going to say, like, I know you were mentioning like that one fan who said, "Oh, I would have paid like $40 for a front seat." What's been other feedback from the fans that you've gotten?
It's kind of hard to kind of gauge what the feedback is because everything is like in the moment that it happens that people are coming to me, oh, it's so good, this is so good.
Okay.
I don't get a ton of feedback after the fact when people have already digested things, but it's mostly been positive. I think kind of like the only hiccups we've ever had are kind of like technical difficulties.
Right.
But as far as matches, what I focus on a lot, and I say this almost all the time, I probably even said it just a while ago, I focus on the quality of the matches. So when these our locals, that was the whole reason for me starting Combat Cult. I really wanted to emphasize local talent, and I figured what's a better way to do it. I mean, they wrestle each other all the time, right?
Right.
They're gonna know each other. They might just start going through the motions. Let me start bringing some talent from out of town that can kind of mix it up with them, and that way it's honestly brought out the best in them. Kike Caballero. I love Kike. I don't know if you guys have had him on the show before.
Not yet.
He's a cool dude. He had a match with our champion Brick Savage in Jesus, what was it? I think March.
When you have to think about, I mean, what, and that's one thing I was talking to Chu about. I go, we were talking about in the vehicle on the way over. He goes, it's weird how like you said. They got the stimulus check, what's have you, and people go out and buy this high caliber equipment like crazy.
Yeah.
They go nuts, and then let's start our own show, or let's go do a wrestling show, or I want to open up my own business.
Yeah.
And they're doing it and it's like.
By the
Well,
third
it wasn't
week.
by the third week they're gone.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like I was telling you, right? I said about consistency, right?
Yep.
I mean, it's all about consistency, and that's something that you have to be constantly coming out with a show every week.
Yep.
You know, and I mean, have you found that challenging for you to? I mean, I know you've been having shows, you know, here and there, but do you feel it challenging after a while where you have to constantly have to be, you know, I gotta get this show up and running because if I don't do it, no one's gonna do it.
Yeah, I think having the 6 week gap, like the 6 to 8 week gap, kind of helps a little bit. When we were doing once a month, I felt the pressure more there because it was like just like you said, like, all right, I got to get the ball rolling on this. I got to get the ball rolling on this. Having that gap now, you know, 6 to 8 weeks, it's a little bit easier. But no, like it's still there's still pressure on me because you know I still gotta put the match together, the match card together. I got to, you know, figure out finances for it all,
Right.
Budgetary stuff. You know, sometimes some talents aren't available, so now I got to work around that.
Right.
Sometimes, you know, the week of the show, somebody might say I'm not available. You know, something came up and I'm not going to be able to make it, so now I got to scramble to figure that out. So it, you know, the pressure's definitely on there. But now with that 6 to 8 weeks, I have plenty of time to, you know, start marketing, start putting out graphics, start, you know, going around and passing out flyers.
Right,
You know, all my
right.
social media stuff. Get the guys, you know, to make promos or whatever it might be. So, you know, I think having it less frequently has helped out a lot. And I would love to get to something like weekly shows. But I'm afraid that it might affect like I said, the quality of what's going to happen.
I got you.
Because I'm going to have to, you know, not spread so much, but I'm going to have to kind of like, okay, I got to plan this week and this week and this week. So I
Right,
don't get to
right.
put that much attention into
Right,
what's
exactly.
going on. You know,
Yeah.
maybe if I had a bigger team to help out with stuff like that. I mean,
Right.
WWE has a huge freaking team.
Yeah.
AEW
Yeah.
has a team to do
Yeah,
all of
yeah.
these things.
Right.
For me, it's kind of just me doing a lot of the stuff and Pete and Nightmare helping me out
Right.
with, you know, some of the logistical stuff. But a lot of it's me, like budgetary, you know. I'm an accounting major in school right now.
Right, right.
So I'm doing all the accounting. A lot of the creative I'm doing. Matchmaking is all me. So, you know, having all these hats, if I were to do it, you know, every week, I'd probably lose my mind, honestly.
Yeah, I believe it. I
probably lose my
believe
mind.
you.
Yeah, for sure.
I believe you. Yeah, because I mean,
it's definitely like a moving vehicle.
Yeah.
While you're trying to change the tires, you know.
No kidding, man.
It's one thing after another.
yeah, I mean, consider the fact, you know, like this pod, you know, getting guests to come in, or like yourself, you called us up and say, hey, man, when do you have time? Yeah, I love those. Those are my favorite guests when they call in and tell me, hey, I want to be in your pod. I go, you know what? I can do it. Unfortunately, I'm kind of booked right now, but I'll get you in.
Yeah.
But
you know, we get that too. We get, like, just now I had some talent reach out to me and they're like, hey, you know, we're interested in working with Combat Colt. We're from, you know, this place. We've worked here and there, and it's like, man, I already have most of my August and my October booked.
Yeah.
Like I already have plans, but I'd like to bring you guys on.
Right.
So, you know, I get that a lot, like all the time. We get tons of talent reaching out to us, you know, that they want to work with us, and you know, a lot of it's kind of just like I already had my plans. You know, if somebody does drop out, then, you know, I'll keep you in mind. But once I start planning, you know, because I try to plan like at a quarter of time, you know, which ends up being like 2 shows now that we're doing 6 to 8 weeks.
Right.
So, you know, I try to plan ahead of time so that way. But there's even like you know, some drawbacks to that, because you plan ahead of time, and like I said, some talent might say yes now, but you know, later on it might be
at that moment they say, you know what,
there's
I
even
can't do
been
it.
the day of. There's been like the day of that people call me like, hey, I'm not gonna be able to make it.
Oh, wow.
You know, car broke down or something happened with the family. You know, I'm not gonna be able to make it. I'm sorry. And, you know, I don't hold any grudges. I know life happens. It happens to me all the time. You know.
Yeah.
Right.
So, like I said, I don't hold grudges. You know, we'll just figure it out on the next one. But it's kind of unfortunate because the next one might be already booked up.
Yeah.
So, you know,
But
but
I like the fact that you say you try to keep it like at least 6 to
yeah, 6 to 8 weeks.
8 weeks
mostly.
apart from each other,
Yeah.
which keeps the talent fresh and actually keeps the storyline up and running a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
And it keeps the manager on his toes.
It keeps them awake on his
Keeps them
toes.
awake.
But I mean, consider the fact that, I mean, 6 to 8 weeks in between. I mean, for a fan that follows you guys, at one point they're gonna be like, oh, it's a little bit of a limbo, but at the same time, they're like looking forward to the next one.
Yeah.
What's gonna happen next? You know. So I mean, have you received? Have you had any fans come up to you and ask you that go in and say, hey man, what's going on? Why are you all taking so long to do a match?
I've had a few, not in those words, but I have had a few that are like, hey, how come you don't do them once a month again, or how come you don't try every week? And it, I don't want to like. Not that I don't, like I said, I don't want to do every week because I would love to do something like that. But it's just the constraints, a lot of, the talent has to be available. I can't book my champion Brick Savage every week.
Right.
And Brick Savage is booked up, every weekend. So I can't tell Brick, come over here, for the next like 3 weeks and take a week off and do it. No, he's,
Right.
Brick's getting paid.
Right.
Other places too. So
Right.
that's kind of the hard thing about having independent contractors is they're not always available.
Right.
They're gonna take the bookings as they see fit.
Yeah. I've seen videos of the guy. That's a big. That's
Brick
a big.
is-
That's a big boy.
Yeah, Brick
That's a big,
is
gives Pete Payne a run for his money.
fun enough. I mean, they've had a match together.
Oh
Brick,
my
Brick and
gosh.
Pete with another gentleman in Brownsville, and I didn't get to watch the match, but I heard it was pretty good.
Clash of the Titans, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Man, I'm itching
I feel
to see
sorry for
them.
that ring.
Yeah, no, I'm itching to see them in a match together. Like, well, I got to make that happen pretty soon. So
Yeah, I got Haziza saying he don't hold grudges. He just has Pete Payne squish you. Yeah, that pretty much.
Fair. Fair.
I don't need
Is
to
that what
keep-
happened to Cacahuatl? No grudges, no grudges.
He hasn't been here in a while, but don't worry, he'll be back soon enough. But yeah, man. I mean, I've seen this guy's videos. I've seen him in action on on his YouTube, and also I think he has a TikTok also.
Man.
And I was checking him out. I go, boy, this he's a big boy.
yeah, Brick.
Yeah.
He's a big boy.
Brick's not signed yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if Brick gets signed by the end of the year, or next year, very soon, because Brick,
He's definitely contract worthy.
very
Yeah,
talented,
Very big boy.
very
big
talented.
boy.
Brick's gotten a couple of opportunities. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if Brick gets signed in, a year from now.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. That boy, that's a big boy.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to, I know you say you bring down talent down and to wrestle with your boys down here. I know a lot of them. I've heard stories from some wrestlers that are in different organizations. They tell me that I look forward to it because it's like a training method for them because these guys they've been around. They've wrestled different places, and they talk on the feedback on that. They go, this is the feedback they want. Has any of these wrestlers come and talk to you about? I mean, how to organize your wrestling matches, or what's a plan for this, and what's a plan for that, or you say, hey man, I do my thing. You don't worry about it.
So I'm very collaborative. If a talent comes to me and suggests something, I'm open to the discussion. I'm not gonna completely dismiss it and say, well, like I know what I'm doing.
Right.
That's not me. Even if I was Vince McMahon, I think I would listen to the talent a little bit and get their perspective on things because they know their character, they know them as a person, they know their capabilities, their weaknesses, and their strengths. So if a talent comes to me and suggests something, I'll keep an open ear to it. If I think and most of the time, like 90% of the time, they're not being marks for themselves. They're not just doing it to get them to win, a championship or even a match.
Right.
They're kind of just suggesting things, the way things can go and whatnot. So, like I said, I'm open to the discussion. But at the end of the day, I do have the last say.
Right.
What about perhaps a business partner if it gets big enough, or
So I've been in those shoes before, and I was very open to a lot of the things, even if I didn't agree with them.
Okay.
I kind of just said, okay, you know what? Let's see what happens and see if it works. If it works, cool. If it doesn't, we'll have to reevaluate what we're doing.
Right.
And not everybody does think that way though. So if you're not taking the advice that somebody else is giving you, and something fails, you do really have to kind of think, maybe I should have listened to this person. But as far as business partners, I kind of see Pete and Nightmare in that sense.
Right.
I do take a lot of their advice, and I kind of listen to it. There are some things that they're Pete and Nightmare. They're wrestlers. They're wrestlers. So
We're doing this. Okay.
I said we're doing it this way, brother.
Can you let go of my throat now?
Yeah, no shit, right? Don't chop me, Pete, please. They're wrestlers, so they see it a certain way where I'm not a wrestler. So I'm coming from a business perspective.
Right.
So I might see it a different way. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, we'll come to an agreement. We're very, like I said, collaborative. I think being in a collaborative kind of thing is important. We've all had those bosses before that are, dictators. What they say goes, and we all fucking hate that guy.
Yeah.
So, when I got in the position that I am, I'm very open to listening to suggestions. But yeah, no, to answer your question, like business partner wise, I try to keep that open ear, that open mind, but I still need to keep that sense of okay, this is the project that we have, this is the goal that I'm trying to accomplish with this business. I can't deviate too much from that.
So you want to keep it independent for a little while?
Yeah, just a little bit. Okay. I'm like I said, I'm open to business partners. I actually spoke with somebody recently who's interested, in jumping in and buying a piece of the company, and I'm open to the idea. I just think we need to have the right mindset. We need to be able to gel and mesh correctly.
Yeah, it's the right partner. It's just like anything else.
Exactly. Because when the first time I was open up to a partnership, that didn't happen so much.
Right.
And God bless. That company's now doing their own thing, and we're doing our own thing. But that didn't really that wasn't really the right fit, I guess.
Sure.
And now if somebody wants to come in, like the gentleman I spoke with, we had a very long discussion. We kind of agreed to sit down for 1 hour, and we ended up sitting down for like 3 hours. Kind of just talking. Okay. Yeah, just talking about business and not just wrestling business, but business itself.
And in the morning they made waffles.
But no, it was a very good conversation, and I'm excited to see where that goes, if it goes anywhere. But yeah, like it at the end of the day, this is business, and if business makes sense and I do get a business partner for that,
sure,
then we have to collaborate on that.
Yeah, because the only reason I ask is because I keep hearing how the Valley is growing, and if the attendance at events like this is any indication, then yeah, I'm sure a lot of people want to like jump in right now. Mm-hmm. Strike while the iron is hot.
Yeah, definitely.
And I was just wondering if that's like something that's ever come up before.
Yeah, no, it definitely has, and I'm sure it'll come up again. I think a lot of what we're doing, I mean, we're only 3 years old, so we're barely getting, the momentum that we need, right? And people are starting to listen. They're starting to, turn their eye, like, oh, what's going on over here? I think our product is very different from other products out here. I think a lot of places here focus on like family entertainment.
Sure.
And not to say that we're not family friendly. We still keep a very almost clean show.
There you go.
But I figure there's some stuff to be desired. There's I think in the 90s one of the biggest things was ECW. ECW was crazy. It had a cult like following.
Right.
Yeah.
And even to this day people talk about ECW.
People still talk about it.
Did it do great business wise? No. There you can sit down and watch any ECW documentary and they'll tell you how financially it wasn't working, but it's a different day and age now.
But culturally, it had a really big impact.
Even on WWE or ECW or WCW, like
yes,
they were poaching talent from there. That was kind of like a farm system almost.
Yeah.
And even now, today's wrestling, a lot of people they'll say guys like Sabu were their inspiration, or Rob Van Dam or whoever. So ECW had a huge following, and I kind of look. Now, I don't want to say we're ECW like at all, because ECW is just it's so different.
Yeah.
But I kind of want to say we're similar in that aspect, where we're kind of focusing more on the mature side of stuff. Not that we're having strippers at our show or anything like that, but
it's more the sports side of it.
Yeah, it's kind of the sports side of it, kind of the competition based aspect of wrestling,
right.
with a little bit of like an edgy side to it.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
You look at our logo, and it's a freaking Reaper with
Right.
a coffin, and the name Combat Colt. Like,
Right.
you can't go to a school with that, and in front of kindergartners and say, "Hey, this is Combat Colt Wrestling." Like,
Who were
Mommy,
your
what's
friends?
a Colt?
Hey, what's a Colt?
Mommy, what's a Colt?
I want to join that Colt.
They offered me Kool-Aid.
Enough with the Kool-Aid, man.
One of them kicked me in the face.
So let me go and big shout out to our sponsors real quick, because we gotta pay the bills, man. Here you go.
Is
Give
it
me
that
one
time of the show
Is
already?
that time of the show, guys?
Wow.
Give Juan a call at 956-854-9622 for Triple J Plumbing, licensed plumbers of the Valley, guys. Give them a call. Also call Jerry at 956-478-5316. They are certified plumbers. Very good at what they do. Hospital grade. I know they were telling me. Oh, also let you know, guys, they do water heaters also, because there's a lot of water heaters being returned for. It's up that time of year to get a new water heater. So these are the guys you want to get a hold of. I know I was talking to Jerry earlier today, and we are due for a brand new commercial for them. So no Magic Mike music like we did last time, even though it was Chu's idea.
Jerry likes his commercials, sir.
It was Chu's idea, but no.
It worked, didn't it?
It did work a little bit. Yeah. But guys, give them a call, and don't forget, guys, your crap is their bread and butter. Also, big shout out to Adonis Construction, Tony. Give them a call, 956-363-7195. These guys, great craftsmanship, great contractors, renovations on residential, commercial, remodel.
Ground up builds, brand new builds.
Brand new build, man. These guys are great, man. They're doing great things in the Valley right now. Give them a call and let them know Chewy News sent you. So, back to our regularly scheduled program over here. Talking to Mr. Eddie Garza here on Combat Call, the owner of the. I guess you could say. I always want to say
promotion.
Promotion. Okay, promotion is a good word. We'll use promotion. But
write that down somewhere.
Let me write down. Let me tap it in. No, but switching gears. We know there's a big event coming up in your neck of the woods.
Oh yeah.
I think I have a picture of it right now. Let me see if I have it here real quick.
We have a poster too.
We got a poster also. I'm gonna put this on there so they can see the QR code real quick. Oh, you want to show the poster? Put the poster up. Go for it. It's all you right there.
I hold it.
You hold it? Okay, I'll put
it.
Well, anything's better than covering Chu's face. So pick it up a little bit higher than Chu. A little bit higher. Perfect. God, that ugly mug is covered. But
I'm still here.
Talk to us a little bit about this event coming up there.
Yeah,
buddy.
so June 8th, again at the CINE Del Rey, historic CINE Del Rey, will be there. I believe doors open at 4, show starts at 5. We have some great matches coming up ahead. I do have to unfortunately announce that Nikki Fuego versus Tina Nix will not be happening. We had them scheduled to wrestle, and Nikki will be in Florida.
Yes,
she will be in Florida.
I'm
super excited for her.
I heard.
Yeah.
Jacinto had reached out to me and told me about that, man. I was at awe. I was like, oh my god, dude! And I was seeing the list.
Yeah.
Is that why she hasn't returned my call?
She's big timing you now.
No, she's big timing now.
Oh my god!
I saw the list of people on this. It was like an autograph session.
Yeah, they're gonna have like a WrestleCon.
Yeah, WrestleCon. They have Hacksaw Jim Duggan's on the ticket. You got Grand Girl that's on there. You got what's her name? Rosa.
Thunder Rosa.
Thunder Rosa's gonna be there also. There's quite a few legends that'll be in.
Big
And then
names.
for someone here, well, two people actually, because Dana Rosa is from this around this area also.
She wrestled here. I
yeah.
believe she's from California.
Yeah, but I mean to
Or San
have
Antonio now.
to have one of our own homegrown
Yeah.
Yep.
to be out there, that's an achievement.
From
Big
West
shout out
Laco,
to
Texas.
I know.
From
Big
West
shout out to
Laco, Texas.
big shout out to
Congratulations,
This,
Nikki.
Nikki Fuego, man.
Yeah, killing it
going on.
already.
Exactly. Oh, and I got Maria A tuning in here. This is a family show. Yes, it is. It's
Who
going
told
to
you
be
that, Maria?
a banger this Sunday. Yeah, it is. I hope so, man.
No, we have some good matches ahead. Scheduled ahead. We have a Chris Austin versus Exodus Prime. If you don't know who Exodus Prime is, you just got to look him up. He's a hell of a talent. He's made I believe the PWI top 100 already.
Oh, wow.
He's gonna tangle with Chris. They have a little feud going on right now.
Really?
Each of them has cost each other, a title match, and they have some blood out for each other. They actually got into a nice little brawl at the end of one of our shows in January.
Do I smell a cage match coming?
I would love to have a cage match. Maybe we can make that happen.
And Chew can be the ref?
I'll even shave my head for it. That seems to be what
I
needs
can
to be
imagine
done.
you in a walker. Hold on, I'm almost there. Hold on. All right, let me get on the ground.
Throw yourself in
One, two.
Damn it. No, but we got them going on. We have Demo Diamond versus Daddy Daniel Ismail.
Okay.
Everybody loves Daddy right now. He's fortunately he moved to Las Vegas, Nevada.
Oh, all right.
But he has been making appearances here, with Combat Cold, and I believe he went at the Landmark. So he's a fan favorite. Come out and watch him. He's going to be wrestling Demo Diamond. Demo actually had a really great match with Daniel's tag partner Mooncat Franco back in January. They actually all got to mix it up in a Rumble in April, and unfortunately Mooncat and Daniel weren't the winner of that. Would have loved to see them win that. That would have been a cool opportunity, but Demo kind of got in the middle of that. So I guess you can say this is a little bit of a grudge match too. And then the big match. We have plenty of them, but the big one, the main event, is actually going to be James Blackheart versus our absolute champion Brick Savage.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. So Blackheart. Oh my God. Blackheart. So Blackheart was actually our absolute champion for a good while, especially when we were here at Suerte. He held that title for a good while. He defended it, lost it to Brick last September, and he's coming back for the throne. He's going to come for Brick, and Brick's been putting on some really good matches with some of our locals. Like I said earlier, Kike Caballero and him had a really good match.
Right.
So we like I said, Blackheart coming back for the throne. We'll see if he can take it.
Yeah, now
Nice.
I know, just a heads up for those that are watching, I should have Blackheart on the pod, I think late July. His full stable will be here, so that's gonna be interesting. So just tune in for the late second to the last week of July. He will be on in the podcast on a Thursday night. So yeah, I got another here says, unfortunately they had to pull Nikki from the event, but that you guys are for the support. Thank you guys for the support. Thanks for calling my call. Understanding the family will still be in CINE, God willing. All right, and I got another one here. I got Danger Boy 19. Let's go.
Hey.
Saying right here, and then Maria A. Once again, if I had money, I'd put it all back on Brick. Well, you and me both, sister.
Not a slight to Blackheart at all, because Blackheart is a talent in his own right.
Yeah.
Brick is they call Brick the world breaker. Brick is, when they had that match back in September, we had it at Tacos and Tequila Fest in McAllen. Brick
you said the magic words there.
tacos and tequila and wrestling.
And wrestling in McAllen.
So they're gonna probably do it again this year. We'll probably be there again.
All right.
Something in my eye. But no, Brick and when Blackheart actually held his own with Brick. Austin was in that match too. Austin's having some really good matches. I wouldn't be surprised if him and Exodus kind of steal the show too. But yeah, no, we have tons of talent here in the Valley. showcasing them, against some of the best in Texas. We got Stud Stash coming. Stud Stash used to wrestle here,
Yes,
WR back in the
I
day.
actually want to have him on the podcast. But I think when we're in the first studio, he was supposed to come down, but unfortunately wasn't able to. That's another guy I would love to have on the pod.
Stud is awesome, man. He's been doing some really good stuff in San Antonio with United 210.
Mm-hmm.
I know they had a little hiccup. You might have seen it on Facebook. They're having some trouble with their space where they perform.
Okay.
But it's Stud's doing some really cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Excited to have Stud back here in McAllen. We've had him for one of our shows last year when we were collaborating with another company and reached out to us. He said he wanted to come down again, and I'm excited to have him.
Yeah, man. I mean, if he comes with that bike fender.
Yeah.
That
bike fender, man. I'd hate to get smacked with that.
That thing is dangerous, bro.
Yeah, no.
It's dangerous.
He'll be actually having a match with Ethan Hunter, who's right in the top corner next to Blackheart on the poster.
Okay.
Ethan Hunter is the Borracho Pro straight shooter champion, I believe. It'll be a non-title match. But they actually have another match in San Antonio in 2 weeks after our event for the title.
Right.
So if anybody wants to make a trip out to San Antonio, they'll be having a really cool match out there with Blackbird Pro, who will actually be collaborating with the show.
Yeah. And if you guys are looking at that poster right there right now, I have it on the big screen right now. You're looking at that poster, that brick right there in front. That's actual size. That's how big he is compared to the other ones. That's actual life size right there.
Fits the scale.
It fits perfect. He took most of the poster. Don't
He's
forget.
really heavy too.
Make sure you hit that QR code to get more information, get the tickets, and it will be on June 8th, this Sunday, the historical CINE Del Rey. Guys, get your tickets. Get out there and support not only your local wrestlers, but all these talents that are coming down to come showcase down here. That's a must, guys. That's a must. I got more people tuning in. I got Danny Boy 19 saying Savage is king, and I got Danger Boy saying face blue, wide eyes. Okay. Inside joke? I
Good
don't know.
point. No, he's got a point.
Hey, he's got a point. He's got a point.
He's got a good point.
All right, then we'll leave it at that. Because that's a chew joke.
Yeah.
But anyways, so I like the fact. I mean, I'm gonna tell you something right now, man. I like the fact that you guys, not with a lot of the promotions here in the valley, that it's an open, like, I guess, open campus. I'm not sure I can use that word. Anybody know what open campus is? You're my age. Oh, open campus.
There's
where
no guards here. We can
leave. We can walk out and go to another promotion and do that. I think that's, to me, that's a lot of love for a lot of the promotions down here, man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how do you see that? I mean, as far, because I've seen some of these new breed wrestlers go over to Comic Con. I've seen some of the Comic Con come to New Breed. It's a beautiful sharing mechanism you guys have going on right now. I mean, I know, like I said, yours is basically 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah.
So some of these guys jump back to do their thing, and then they come back to you again. I mean, has there ever been an issue where, you know what? Oh man, I got injured over here, but I got you on a promotion over here. Has there ever been an issue like that?
Not injury wise. Not that I can recall. We have had some instances where, they're going to be booked at one show, and then another one, like ours or whatever. Mm-hmm. And not just at Landmark, but other shows. It's happened before. I'm good with them. If they're good with it, working both shows. Mm-hmm. I believe Danny Chance over there at New Breed is cool with it too. But as far as somebody, like I had somebody advertise and then they get injured. No, I haven't had that. I don't believe Danny has either.
Knock on wood.
Yeah.
Everybody just knock on wood.
Right?
Knock on wood, people. Knock on wood.
Knock on wood. Knock on a virgin.
There you go.
Knock on a virgin. But no, it does get a little intricate when you have to plan around these kind of things.
Right.
For both sides, because we want the guys to get the most out of the weekend that they can, because they they're not going to get this weekend back. But we are kind of concerned if they're going to get injured or not.
Right.
So luckily we haven't run into that issue, but it can get a little I guess it can get a little difficult trying to plan around these things.
Yeah.
Um,
I can see. I can understand that. Yeah.
So no, a lot of our local talent hasn't been like pulled out of any of our shows. It's mostly been like out of towners, for
good.
whatever reasons.
That's good. That's good.
Injury wise or whatnot.
I got Mary A says I can't wait. I already have my VIP front row seat. Wow, get the blood and sweat and tears right in front of you there. And I got Danger Boy for you. He put something up here. I don't know what this is. It's super chat. Okay, $4.99. I don't know what that is, buddy. Okay, he's saying let's go. I go. That's his OnlyFans. Celebrating my birthday with the Combat Cult family. Ooh. And Danger Boy saying join the cult, Combat Cult. Hey, yeah, there you go. There you go.
Drink the Kool-Aid.
It's crazy, man. I mean, you got you. So far. I mean, I've been to a Combat Cult event. I know when you guys had it here at Club Suerte downstairs, man. It was interesting. I took my boy to go watch that, and I've taken him to see the dark shows for WWE when they come down here to the RGV and stuff like that, and he's excited. He's great. Everything, but that one in particular event you had here. He just lost it, man. He was going nuts. Kick him in the face, hit him in the face. I'm like, looking at him like, damn boy, what's going on? But he loved it, and I mean, it's a family. Like I said, it's a family-oriented event. You come out, have a good time. I mean, it takes me back when I was a kid. My dad used to take me to wrestling events. That's what's so cool about all these promotions here in the RGV. You miss one, there's another one coming up. You miss that one, there's another one coming up. You get the opportunity to jump on. Most of the time, like I said, the transfers of different promotions using the same wrestlers and everything, and it's funny because sometimes some of the storylines carry over to other areas, and one that I watch a lot, I've been watching a lot. I mean, and I'm just gonna switch gears again. Here is what the guy I'm watching. I love Mooncat. I love watching Mooncat's one hell of a wrestler, dude. I love watching him wrestle. The guys.
I'd like him a lot more if he'd return our phone calls.
He doesn't even have a phone.
He talks to the moon.
That's right. That's
Travels, comes back to you.
Yeah. And the one that caught my eye now, the one that's caught my eye all these promotions that he's doing, all these little skits that he does, is Maravilla. Maravilla, man. He's been
Frank the Tank.
Frank the Tank, man. Oh my gosh! You were here when actually when Quez was here.
Yeah.
When the first episode we had in our studio, he came in. Him and Big Poppy were here, and they were all popping these little poppers that were in here. This guy, he is a great wrestler, and I hate to bring. If you guys are WWE fans, I hate to bring this up.
Oh, I love it.
But he reminds me so much of R-Truth. I don't know why. And right now, knowing the fact that R-Truth is no longer with WWE, which I am really ticked off right now.
We want truth.
Oh, did you? If you watched Raw last night.
Last night, they were chanting it.
They were chanting it and they had to literally bleep it the audience out, tone them out, and just put audio over that chant through every single match. I mean, my point is, you get what the fans want. You get what the fans want, and Frank does it, man. Every week, almost every week, he comes out with these little skits, and they're hilarious.
I've seen a lot of them. They're very
hilarious.
entertaining. He's a very entertaining individual.
Do you tell your wrestlers, hey, man, you need to do stuff like this? I mean, have you reached out to anyone? We need to start. Oh, great. Now I got Jancito saying here, likes STDs.
STDs.
Oh, my God. Really? We have to go there, guys? Come on.
He really does.
Shut up.
He loves them.
But your wrestlers in your promotion, do you try to help kind of push a little bit, or you let them do that on their own?
So I do ask for them. I don't make them mandatory. Some places do. We have had a couple of we call them promos. Some of the guys cut promos.
Yeah.
But Frank's promos, I've seen him. Yeah, this guy's wild, man. He's got a personality, and when he's ready for a combat ring, we'll be there. But he to that caliber, there's maybe been like a handful that we've had like that, like with Frank's.
Yeah.
Dandy Daniel, he cuts some very, very powerful ones sometimes.
Right.
And Kike Caballero cut one not too long ago before his match with Brick. That one was pretty cool too.
Yeah.
And we don't really implement them a lot on our social medias as much as we do like on our match episodes.
Okay.
So we upload our matches on YouTube.
Okay.
Right now I believe we're barely starting our March show. Our matches from March. But we try to implement any promos that the guys put on there. We let them post it on their social medias.
Right.
We don't really post it on ours.
Right.
But as soon as our YouTube videos drop, that's normally where their promos will be. So that way, the audience, whoever's watching, who might have missed the actual show,
Right.
or wasn't on social media or looking at our stuff at that time.
Yeah.
If they're watching our YouTube videos, they can kind of see what transpired before to get to that to that match. So
Yeah, because every time I see him, I just like the way he starts off. Frank the Tank, Maravilla. I love it.
No.
I love it. They're fun to watch, and I need to step into some of the guys that do promos for your Chihuahua. I keep saying sponsorship. Why do I keep saying sponsorship? Promotion?
Because you want a sponsor. You want a sponsor.
But I've seen those, man, they're so entertaining, man. I love watching good promos like that.
Yeah.
They're fun to watch.
I feel like that's what's missing, honestly. Frank puts them out. A handful of other guys do too. But if you look at wrestling in the big leagues, like WWEs and AEWs, their promo work is different. Like it's up there, and that's what connects with people. You're gonna get in the ring. You're gonna get people to cheer for you or boo you or whatever.
Right.
But let's just say you're a new fan, and you say, hey, this Combat Cult thing looks pretty cool. Let me go on their social medias or let me go on YouTube to see what they're about. And they see, let's just say, a Daddy Galvan. Who's this guy? Like, he's holding up his finger, on the poster, but I don't know who he is.
Right.
Well, let me watch this little clip. That's going to tell you who that
Exactly.
wrestler is.
Exactly.
That's going to tell you why they wrestle for what they wrestle for.
Right. What promotion they're waiting for,
exactly. Or what's going on in that promotion, why they're going to even have that match.
Right.
I think promos are very important. I don't tell the guys to shoot them because I want more content, which it does help, right? But I want them to exercise that muscle in them,
Right.
If you're not cutting promos, you're not getting better at them.
Right.
And if you want to be anywhere, you're gonna have to cut these eventually. So I want them to practice that, and I want them to be able to explain that narrative before the match, so that way when the match happens, it makes it that much clearer.
I got you.
Maybe if there's any up and coming media consultants that want to help them out with that,
Bro.
Maybe.
I don't know, bro.
Maybe.
I see it. You see the way I see it, I would do promos like back in the 90s, though. He used to do short promos, just like DJ X used to do the promos, stuff like that, man. Just watching it because
or old 80s too. Those were awesome.
The guy with the little microphone.
Yep.
What do you want to say?
Yep.
Mean Gino
Curlinger.
over here. But that's the cool thing about a lot of the Valley talent, man. They have so much talent. People need to come out and see these shows, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you see these shows and be associated, be a fan, be a huge fan to keep this wrestling scene alive. And they're doing it.
Yeah.
Social media is where they can follow you there, Eddie.
If you're on Instagram and TikTok, which we don't really use a lot, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, we're at Combat Cult Wrestling.
Yep.
If you're on Twitter /X, we are at Combat Cult Fight.
Right. And I got Chube holding up hold on, sorry, wrong picture right there. He's holding up that bad boy. That's QR code right there, so you can find out what's going on. I have another QR code right there for Combat Cult Wrestling for upcoming events. Hit them up, man. They got some great stuff coming on,
Banger
bro.
after
Great
banger.
stuff coming on. You do not want to miss. But there you go, man. Let me go ahead and exit all that stuff out here. But hold on, I got some more people tuning in real quick. Hold on, let me get this real fast.
Show's almost over. Where you been?
Here he goes, and I got another one here. He goes, since Nikki versus Tina has to be pulled, how about Chu and Eddie? Really? Chu and Eddie, and I guess NOP. I think.
I got 5 minutes to kick someone's ass.
I've rolled with Pete before, so I think I can hold my own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got time.
I love to commentate
I
that
am a
one.
purple belt. I am a purple belt.
I am gonna scratch your eyes out so hard.
So far,
I will
I
use
kind
this
of believe
leg.
you, buddy.
Pass me the leg.
Eddie, I want to say thank you so much, man, for
Thank
coming on the
you.
podcast, man.
Thanks, man.
I mean, continue doing what you're doing, bro. Keep your dream alive.
Thank you.
And all these young wrestlers that are coming into your area alive. Is there anywhere they can reach out to you if they want, try to get on your promotion or anything like that?
Follow the Combat Gold page. Reach out to me. Just introduce yourself. Tell me what your goals are, and we'll try to make it happen.
Don't show up cold. Don't just show up to like CINE Del Rey.
Well, you can. No, that's great too. A lot of people
okay.
shy away from that. No, show up to the show. Introduce yourself. That's what I did. I showed up to WR, introduced myself, and I am where I am now, right? But
I think she was saying like showing up and then
don't-
jumping in the ring.
Don't show up to the show. I'm sorry. Let me
joke.
elaborate. Don't show up to the show in trunks. I'm ready to go in there.
yeah, bring your gear, but
just-
no, don't do that. Don't jump into the ring like that. Yeah. Bring your gear. Ask if you can, and we'll see what happens.
But if you are talent that wants to like possibly join the show,
Yeah.
then you contact through the
Contact
Right.
through the socials.
I got Jacinto telling me, what? It hasn't even been an hour yet. I go, it is an hour, bro.
It's been an hour, Jacinto.
Jacinto, we were on like
Where
6:30,
the hell have
buddy.
you
And I got Danger Boy saying, we want Martin in Combat Gold.
Martin and Combat Cole.
You know what, guys?
Is he old enough?
I think so. Hey, guys, if you watch that in particular, remember what I said? Remember what I said, guys?
Uh-huh.
The camera's right on me right now. Remember what I said in that episode? He is what's the word I'm looking for? He's an opportunist. The guy's an opportunist. He clarified it on our show that he was an opportunist. Now, he also said if Toxico got that belt, his best friend, quotes, his best friend got that belt, he would be happiest guy in the world for him. Remember, business is business. That's all I'm going to say to you guys.
Bullshit. No.
Oh, my gosh.
No one stands on business when they're on the bottom, dude. I'm sorry. No.
But
No.
anyways, Eddie, once again, thank you so much for coming out and having
you
some
for
fun with
having
us, bro. All I can say is nothing but best wishes to you, man, and hopefully it all comes together like a pair of butt cheeks and works out for you, bro, because it's there, man.
Well, we
It's
are the
there.
shit, so
There you go.
Perfect.
Oh,
There you go. I was waiting for that one.
Alley-oop.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that is our podcast for the night. Thank you so much for watching. We will be back Thursday night next week at 7:30 with a young gentleman who owns a ranch, horse stables, dude.
Yep.
Horse stables.
Horse stables.
It's gonna be an issue. A young gentleman. He's not even 21 yet, and he owns.
There's going to
that
be a
horse-
pony in the studio, isn't there?
No,
Genuine pony?
Oh.
no pony for you, buddy.
My
Trust me,
pony.
no pony for
Aw.
you. Not my little pony, your little jabroni, nothing like that. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. Chew, any last words?
Because you've been requesting it so much, the leg's coming off.
No, we're gonna take that out there,
Oh,
No,
yeah.
guys.
Here we go.
Also, don't forget, guys.
Where you going? Don't go.
We actually have our caps on sale. Go straight to that QR code. You can purchase them. We get them sent out to you ASAP. As Choose actually modeling it off right there.
Right there.
And I got
Nice.
T-shirts also that are available that you can go on there and buy them also. Sign us out, Chew.
I've been Chew.
And I am. Hold on, let me get this off. There you go. Tight that. No, we can't be selling them all the time. I am Lou, and we will see you next week, 7:30 on Thursday night.